Swings on a long high drive to right field. Back goes Cabrera. Hermida will touch them all. And the Padres take the lead here in the 8th inning, 8-7. My, oh my.
And the Padres continue the winning formula established in this spring in Peoria, Arizona. And they're trying to stretch their victory total to 20. They lead all National League teams in wins, and they're only behind Toronto's 22 overall in the major leagues. And today they entertain Ryan Braun and the Milwaukee Brewers as we're coming down to the final couple of games here in the spring. And certainly the delight of throughout the camp has been the fact that consistently they started 0-4, but since then they have hit the ball effectively. They don't swing at bad pitches, and they're making contact with the good ones.
It all boils down to great approaches by veterans and youngsters alike in camp with the San Diego Padres, and hitting coaches Phil Plantier and Alonzo Powell, with the hard work they put in, it's coming to fruition because they're taking great hacks. They're swinging at fastballs early in the count. They are hitting mistakes, and the proof is on the scoreboard with the hits in the double digits, scoring as many as 12 runs. And I'll tell you what, Dick Enberg, even with a bad hammy, give me a baseball, I'll take the mound with 5.9 runs a game. I might even walk away with a victory.
Right, 6 to 5.9 and a victory for Mark Grant. Those are major league numbers. #1 in runs per game, slugging, on-base percentage, and #1 in the National League with that batting average of almost 300. One other note in these 19 wins this year, the last 5 times they were in a one-run game, the Padres prevailed. In the last 2, they've come from behind.
I love the late life, the late offense the San Diego Padre team has displayed here in spring training. Hey, bottle it. Come Thursday against the Dodgers, keep it going.
We're going to see right-hander Tim Stauffer. He was the opening day pitcher a year ago. Will he get that honor again this year? Does he have the right stuff? Stauffer on the mound against the Brewers today in a beautiful day in Arizona. Crowd this Saturday in Peoria, an hour earlier than normal, a noon game because there's another tonight between Seattle and the Padres at 6 o'clock. But fans enjoying this terrific weather that we've experienced throughout the spring. Ron Renicky, he and Bud Black were coaches under Mike Scioscia when the Angels won the World Series in 2002. And here's his lineup. Ricky Weeks. Is there a man pound for pound with more power than Weeks, the second baseman? Nyjer Morgan, then the National League Most Valuable Player Ryan Braun. A little question mark after his activities of the past year. Aramis Ramirez comes over with his power from the Cubs. Matt Gamble replaces Prince Fielder. Will he be able to give the Brewers a sock at first base? Jonathan Lucroy, what a year he had. He's just signed a new contract. Alex Gonzalez over from Atlanta at short. Carlos Gomez in right. And left-hander Chris Narveson on the mound. Tim Stauffer, this is a big start for him. He's had a couple of rocky games this spring. And we're underway against Ricky Weeks, hitting .289 in the spring. Weeks, a model of consistency. The last 2 years with the Brewers, he's hit exactly the same, .269, with a lot of sock. 29 home runs 2 years ago, 20 last year, and pound for pound, not many men can upper deck the ball the way this guy can.
Ricky Weeks plays in a ballpark that is hitter friendly, but you make a good point, Dick. I think in a lot of ballparks, if he were to play their 81 dates, he could still put the ball out of the ballpark with some serious punch. And to all fields as well. Right center field, left center field.
A ball and a strike to Weeks. There's that breaking pitch. That was terrific stuff with Tim Stauffer going through his pitches and how he grips the ball.
Well, thank you very much.
Enjoyed that. Good insight.
And I do have to give credit to Darren Balsley, who's given a lot of time to help me understand what the pitching staff is all about and their little idiosyncrasies as well.
High chopper. That's going to be a tough play, and Bartlett can't make it cleanly. That was a do or die because of the high bounce, and in his haste to get the ball in and out of the glove, unable to make the play, and he's charged with an error.
We've seen Jason Bartlett make some good plays at shortstop, a very makeable play. That ball is right across Padres in the chest. Sure, he's moving to his right. We saw a ball the other day bounce out of the glove of Jason Bartlett. He knows he's got to clean that up before opening day.
So Weeks aboard, and here's the center fielder, Nyjer Morgan, hitting .226 on the spring. Likes to use his speed and shortens up there as if he might have designs on a bunt base hit. .31 years of age, a most unusual background, Nyjer Morgan. Californian, born and raised. Rips at the first. Good glove by Guzman. Can they turn it? Yes, indeed. 3-6-3, beauty, the double play, and Guzman's quick glove initiates that twin killing.
And nobody feels better than Jason Bartlett as he completes the back end of the double play. Sharply hit baseball gives the infielders a little bit more time to gather themselves. They turned that one perfectly. And I could feel the and hear the happiness in your voice, Professor.
Oh, the double play.
A big fan of the DP.
You bet. That's the tough one. And Guzman, after the bad throw on a play last night that cost some runs, comes up with not only a good quick glove, but a terrific throw to Bartlett. Ryan Braun. He's had a very slow start. 6 hits and 34 at bats. And nothing to compare with his tremendous numbers of a year ago, MVP. He's been good from day one in the major leagues. He was the rookie of the year in the National League 4 seasons ago. On deck is Aramis Ramirez. However, with the drug testing and the decision made in the offseason, question mark over his head, but no question about his ability to hit a baseball. He's just absolutely a terrific hitter. First hit of the game to Ryan Braun. Here's the defense for the Padres. James Darnell gets the start in left field with Denorfian blanks in center and right. Headley, Bartlett, Hudson, and Guzman on the infield with Stauffer and Baker the battery. A lot of players that we might see in the starting lineup on Thursday against the Dodgers will be active in the night game, the 6 o'clock game. Ramirez, the big pickup in the offseason by Milwaukee, trying to fill the void left by the absence of Prince Fielder. Man with 315 career home runs. He got a 3-year deal.
How about that NL Central, both losing Prince Fielder and Albert Pujols. So a power outage in the NL Central, huh? But Ryan Braun is one of those guys that can make up the difference in offense for the Brewers, as Aramis Ramirez.
And they're curious about the man on deck, left-handed hitting Matt Gamble. Will he be able to chip in with the power that he showed in the minor leagues? 2-1. Ramirez hit .306 with the Cubs last year with 26 homers.
It's be a good spot for a cutter. There it is.
And the count to 3-1.
And the reason why I say that, 2-1, hitters count, rather than throwing a four-seam fastball, throwing a cutter or a nice tight slider off the plate a little bit. Hopefully you get that hitter fishing for it.
Runner goes, swung on and missed, and Braun is out of there. So a little run and hit. Braun didn't get a great break and thrown out by John Baker. And that's it for the Brewers. Coming up, Denorfia, Hudson, and Headley for the Padres. First at bat against the left-hander, 30-year-old Chris Narveson, who lives here in Phoenix. But Black sets this lineup against the Brewers today. Denorfia gets the leadoff spot with Hudson and Headley. Guzman in the cleanup spot, tough against left-handed pitching. Kyle Blanks, 3 hits last night. Jason Bartlett, then John Baker, the left-handed hitting catcher. James Darnell in left. He's hit nearly 300 all spring. Darnell quietly raising a lot of positive comments from the coaching staff. Narveson, 6th start of the spring. There's his numbers from last year.
A poor man's Tom Glavine, and the reason why I say that, well, he's left-handed, but Chris Narveson throws the cut fastball and the changeup. His changeup is a pretty darn good pitch, but pitching coach for the Brewers, Rick Kranitz, is a big fan of that cutter. So we might see that into the righties.
Denorfia, used against left-handed pitching, undoubtedly will be platooned this year. Had a big triple last night. Eight hits and 24 at-bats this spring for Chris Denorfia. Narveson didn't sign his contract with the Brewers until the very end of February. And he gets Denorfia to chase. 3-pitch strikeout. Defensively behind Narveson, Braun, Morgan, and Gomez left to right in the outfield, with Ramirez at third, Gonzalez the shortstop, Weeks and Gamble on the right side, Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate. Orlando Hudson, 3 hits and 21 at-bats in his limited duty this spring. Sidelined by that groin injury and then a virus earlier this week. Said today in the local newspaper he wants to play to at least 40. Now 35 years of age.
Don't they all want to play till they're 40?
It's tough to hang them up. I'm telling you. It's in your blood since you were a kid. You get a chance to play professionally, then you make it to the big leagues.
2 balls and a strike. Speaking of age, how about Jamie Moyer? He's been named number 2 in the Rockies rotation at 49. He'd be the oldest pitcher in history to win a game should he be successful. Sharply hit, but right at Gonzalez, and there's 2 away.
Not only does Jamie Moyer have his Major League Baseball Players Association card, I think he's got his AARP card as well.
How old are you?
48.
He's a year older than you and still hurling.
It's unbelievable. Good for him, and a great guy to have in the rotation for the Colorado Rockies.
Didn't pitch last year with that arm injury, but this will be his 25th Major League season, Jamie Moyer. Switch hitting Chase Headley. 1-0. Headley with a 256 mark on the spring. 3 home runs. And another old-timer signing quickly after Houston released him. Atlanta just hours later signed Levon Hernandez, listed at 37. Going on 42.
He's good for about 150 pitches each outing. He'll flip everything up there. The big looping curveball, Ephus pitch.
He'll get it up to about 58 miles an hour, that Ephus job.
He's fun to watch.
Struck him out. An impressive first inning for Narveson. Strikes out both Denorfia and Headley as the Padres go 1-2-3. Great hitting by the Padres this spring. Let's go to the master, the new hitting coach, Phil Plantier, when we come back. First pitch to Ramirez, swung on and missed. It'll be Ramirez, Gamble, and Lucroy for the Brewers here in the top of the second inning as Phil Plantier, Padres' new batting coach, joins us from down in the first base dugout. And Phil, if anyone in a classroom wants to be pleased, you measure the teacher by how well the students learn. Your group of students have produced at an A+ level this spring.
It's been a good camp. It's been a really good camp all the way through. The minor league guys early, big league guys here coming on late, doing a little damage against some starters recently. So, yeah, it's been a really good camp.
And we talked to you back in mid-February, just when the regulars arrived, and you said your approach is try to use gap to gap. Forget about the home runs. They'll come if you just try to hit the grassy area at Petco Park.
Yeah, it's always important. The hitters know who they are as an individual and what they do best, and to try to stick with that as often as possible. And, make your adjustments to the game as you need to. But, definitely putting approaches together that adapt to the environment that we play in most is going to be real important.
And also, Phil, the approach of working with another hitting coach alongside of you, Alonzo Powell. So you and Alonzo and yourself will be working in unison. How's that worked out?
Oh, it's working great. Zoe and I have worked together in the past for a few years when we were both over in the Maryland organization. We both know exactly what we do and what we're trying to do every day. The communication's been great. I think the players like it. It allows us to have a lot more individual one-on-one time with guys and still be able to cycle everybody through to get their work every day.
Are you more of a mind guy between the ears or a mechanical guy?
Man, you got to do everything. You know that. This game, once the game starts, it's mental. You got to be able to put it together there. Now the physical stuff's going to come out. But, the different parts of the day kind of provide a opportunity to work on the different parts. You get your mechanical phase early in the morning, approaches, BP, game time, compete, plans, the whole thing. So, the mental part, everything, it all comes together. Everybody needs a little bit something different every day, and that's just kind of the unique part of our job is these guys are individuals. They all need something a little bit different, and we got to be there for all of them.
Now, Alonzo Powell in the division of labor, when we go to Petco Park, he won't be in uniform in the dugout, but he still will have his presence known. And how will he help in games once we start the regular season as Ramirez hits that ball to right field? Can of corn out there for Kyle Blanks, one away.
This is a good thing about having a couple of guys. Like we said, we get to split up the workload. Allows us to spend more time with the guys, and during the game his responsibility is going to prepare the bench guys in the cage with video and in the cage and getting them lubed up, ready to go, and prepared for their ABs late in the game.
Phil, is one of the approaches that you want to preach this spring being aggressive on the fastball when you get a fastball early?
Absolutely. I mean, Mud. You know how it is. This game revolves around the fastball. You got to be able to handle it. That pitcher out on the mound needs to know that you know what to do with the fastball. So, that's one of the key things we've been working on.
And your biggest improvement you see in camp since day one, since you guys have been here, who is the one player that you feel has made great strides in spring training?
Wow, there's too many guys. I've been extremely
That's
happy
a good
with
answer.
the entire group, man. There hasn't been one guy that necessarily stands out more than others. There's a lot of good stories out there, and it's been a very competitive camp. Right from the first day when the minor leaguers are playing in more games, I think a lot of the success that we've had as a team got started because those guys were prepared. They had their ABs, and I think it's indicative of the depth of the system as spring training's progressed. The starters, the guys that are going to be in San Diego, are getting caught up a little bit more on some ABs. We've had a couple guys banged up where they're a little short on at bats, but guys are starting to get into the rhythm, getting into the flow what they got for the season. There's just too many guys. There's really not one guy that stands out. I've been happy with the entire group.
We're talking with Phil Plantier, the Prince of Poway, the batting coach for the Padres. One player that comes to mind for me, Phil, is Will Venable. Venable not in the lineup today, but last year he said, I was so uncertain. I tried so many things. I got down on myself, and you've tried to make it less complicated for him, and he's had a good spring.
Any player, Will obviously has a lot of tools, a lot of talent. He's had some success in the past, and trying to help him tap into the things that he's done when he has been successful in the past. We'll put together an agenda this offseason. We've made him accountable to it, and he's made himself accountable to it to stay on track, and that's what's going to help him develop that consistency.
Well, thanks a lot, Phil Plantier, and continued success with your hitters as we go ahead in the 2012 season.
All right, guys.
And welcome back to the Peoria complex as this tremendous weather continues here throughout the course of spring training in Arizona. Padres head home on Monday, work out at Petco on Monday, then a Tuesday night game with Kansas City that will be televised here on Fox Sports San Diego. Chris Narveson, a very impressive first inning, struck out Denorfia and Headley and got Hudson to ground out. And here's Guzman, a .281 spring hitter, Padres top hitter last year. And he hits this one shallow to left center field. A late break by Braun, but he's there in time for the out.
Big swing, broken bat. Narveson staying off the sweet spot of the bat of Guzman. I think that's why Ryan Braun saw the swing and he didn't really realize till later that the ball wasn't hit solidly.
Kyle Blanks, after being rested with a shoulder ailment for about 10 days, returned pinch hit 2 days ago, base hit, and 3 hits last night, so 4 for 5 on his return. .310 average overall this spring for the big man.
And before the game, he says he feels fine, feeling confident up there at the plate.
That'll be a souvenir off to the right.
Kyle Blank should be one of those hitters in time that should strike fear into the opposing pitcher, especially if he gets a good fastball, as we talked about with Phil Plantier, the hitting coach for the San Diego Padres. Be aggressive on the early fastball.
2-1 the pitch.
Change up.
Not much of a windup from Narveson.
No, he's kind of sneaky out there as well. He's got a little deception in his delivery. He's kind of a short armor. Doesn't really have a big, long arm swing. Sneaky fast. He's going to top out 85, 86 miles an hour.
Hits the corner, high and outside. 3-2 now to Blanks with Bartlett to follow.
Now, don't be surprised if he throws something off speed here.
And reaching out and going after ball 4. And Blanks is out 5-3. Ramirez across to Gamble. 5 in a row retired by Narveson. Well, don't miss opening weekend at Petco, the Padres and the Dodgers. Sold out on Thursday, then Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, fans. And those of you in attendance on Friday will receive a 2012 schedule cling presented by Aladdin Bail Bonds and fireworks after the game. Don't wait. Buy early and save at Padres.com. Call 619-795-5555. Bartlett just 3 ticks under 300 this spring. Narveson pitched against the Padres earlier this year over at the Milwaukee camp and was very effective as well. There's that sneaky fastball at 86.
And when you can locate the 86-mile-an-hour fastball, then you drop the changeup like Narveson has done this afternoon early on. There it is again, down and away. Cambio. Avoiding the sweet spot of that bat. Might try to bury a fastball in here.
He does, and Bartlett pulls it, and it's hooking foul. About 10 feet foul. Ramirez hit one almost the same spot. Top half of the inning that just missed being an extra base hit. President and interim CEO Tom Garfinkel will join us in our broadcast booth in the next inning, and so much to ask Mr. Garfinkel. Latest in terms of ownership, the television package that is as yet not complete. Some of you folks back home enjoying our television this spring, others looking for the opportunity. Softly hit in foul territory, and Gamble able to make the play, and Narveson 6 impressive outs. 1, 2, 3 the story again for San Diego. some of the eye-popping topography here in the Valley of the Sun as we pull into the Peoria complex. Top of the third inning, no score. Bottom third of the order up for Milwaukee as we welcome President and interim CEO Tom Garfinkel. It's been some little uneven moments in the last couple of moments involving the Padres, yet you consistently have kept the Padres ship sailing forward. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, we've got a lot of great leaders in the organization across the front office and down in the dugout as well. So everybody's been charging ahead, getting ready for opening day, and a lot of good things happening at the Padres right now.
Well, fans had to be pleased with the fact that you've tied up 3 of the top young players. That ball hit high in the air to deep left center field. Denorfia back and looks up, and it's gone as Gonzalez hits his 4th home run of the spring, and it's 1-0 Milwaukee. Acquired from Atlanta, he hit 15 homers with the Braves last year. That was the 3rd most by any National League shortstop. So Gonzalez puts the Brewers on the board with the leadoff homer here in the 3rd. So you sign Maben and then Hundley, and yesterday the good news about Corey Lupke, and obviously the formula is identify the top young players and keep them around for a while.
Well, Corey's a very talented pitcher, obviously, but also he's a player who's got the right qualities. Great work ethic, great teammate. You talk to Buddy and Darren Balsley and the coaching staff, and this is a player who he learns, he applies what he hears and learns from it, gets better every day, and competitive too. Wants to go out and beat the other team every day.
Gomez using his speed, like that one for a double. Good fielding by Darnell and a solid throw, but Gomez follows the homer by Gonzalez with a double here in the 3rd inning. That'll bring up the pitcher Narveson.
Tom, I think it's a good signal to the fans of San Diego as well, and we've talked about it before, but locking up the players to multi-year deals, the continuity that fans are going to see from year in and year out.
Yeah, certainly with a player like Cameron Maben, the athleticism, again, the same kinds of qualities I described in Corey. Nick Hundley, the kind of player that goes out there and, just as a competitor every day, a great teammate, great work ethic. It does start to build a core of players that fans can look to see for a long time, and that can, most importantly, help us win ball games here for many years.
Narveson up there to bunt. The Padres bluff the pickoff move. Well, can you summarize basically the situation in terms of the ownership of the Padres at this point? Well,
I think, John Moores has owned 51% of the team for a while, and we've been operating under that structure already. And so, with Jeff stepping down, we're trying to just continue to move things forward the same way we were. And I think signing Corey is certainly indicative of that. We've been working hard to get ready for opening day. A lot of great things happening around the ballpark, new sponsorships, new club spaces, new food items coming into the ballpark. Continue to sell season tickets, and most importantly, Josh and his team and Buddy and his guys are focused on building the roster out and putting together the best team we can to go win baseball games.
From a fan standpoint, Tom, what are some of the things fans can look forward to? And the most important thing, we all know this, food.
Not the victory column?
Well, yeah, the most important thing is winning, but I think we do focus a lot on the fan experience. We've got a new sponsorship deal with Verizon, and they're going to be putting in a whole new DAS system so everybody's cell phones work even better at the ballpark. New Wi-Fi system that'll be available in July and free to all the fans at the ballpark. New food items. We went out and asked fans, what are the food items in San Diego you'd like to see in the ballpark? And we got a lot of responses back. Went out and brought in Hodad's Burgers, Bull Taco, San Diego craft beers like Ballast Point and Carl Strauss. And so we're really trying to make Petco Park a bit of a taste of San Diego, if you will, and keep the prices affordable. A Hodad's Burger will be, $6.50. And so these are the things that we're trying to do, make sure we have great experience, free Wi-Fi, great food. Beer prices are staying flat from last year, and we reduced them a lot a couple years ago. And just trying to improve on that experience every day, and obviously the best experience is when you get a win.
Where do we stand now in terms of Fox Sports San Diego and the television package?
Well, we're on the air.
we're appreciative of that.
So, that's the most important part, is to be on the air for our fans. And, I know that Cox and DirecTV have obviously gotten their deals done with Fox. There's a couple other distributors that are still in negotiations, and I know that Fox has offered them the same rates that they've offered Cox and DirecTV. So hopefully they decide to carry the games. The distinguishing factor is that last year, and for many years prior to that, there were many distributors that wanted to carry the games, and it wasn't offered to them. And now it's being offered to everybody, to all the distributors, and so they have to decide they want to carry the games. And the more the fans say, "Hey, we want these games," to those distributors, or start switching over to DirecTV or Cox, the more likely they are, I guess, to step up and do that. But that's kind of out of our control, unfortunately. Our priority was to get the games on the air like they are now, and to get it to as many fans as possible, and through DirecTV and Cox, we can do that now.
Ricky Weeks taking a borderline pitch there, 3-2 to walk. So first and third, one out here in the Brewers' third. And up is Niger Morgan, who grounded into a sharp 3-6-3 double play first time up.
One of the great things you brainstormed this offseason, outfitting over 11,000 Little Leaguers in Padre uniforms.
It's been a lot of fun, and seeing all those kids wearing Padres gear from past and present, and
that is about as well as you can execute a safety squeeze and get a base hit as well. You couldn't have run out and planted the ball there any better than Niger Morgan, as the Brewers have a second run and a base hit for Morgan and an RBI.
Yeah, the Little League initiative, I went out to East Lake. I went out to Rancho Penasquitos, some other places for Little League opening day. And to see all these kids in the 69 uniforms, and the Dave Winfields there, the current road uniforms there, it was fun. I mean, and to see these Little Leagues be able to come to me and say, "You see that snack shack over there? Well, we took the money that we saved from not having to buy jerseys, and we redid the snack shack, or we redid the fields." And some of these Little Leagues didn't even really have jerseys. The kids had T-shirts, and so it's just, to see the look on their faces is just really exciting.
And, of course, we will then see those kids throughout the course of the baseball season as they come out with their parents to games wearing, I'm sure, those Padre uniforms. And
it ties back our past and our present together, celebrating our history and all the different uniforms that we do have here at the Padres. So.
Swing and a miss by Braun, who sent a sharp single to left field his first time up. The Padres this year, 44th year in the major leagues, and their 76th San Diego Padres season. And it is a generational, eternal game, baseball, and I guess that's why we're all so passionate about it.
There was a great article in the New York Times a couple days ago about baseball and the father-son relationship.
Braun with another single, and Darnell, quick charge in field, holds Weeks from scoring, so the bases are now loaded. Weeks to third, Morgan at second, and Braun 2 for 2 at first base, as Brewers with a 2-0 lead in position to roll a crooked number, a big one here. Stauffer needs a big pitch. The infield hoping to come up with a double play and bail him out.
Opening day, Tom, sold out?
Opening day sold out. There'll be some seats we're still holding back for potential season ticket sales that will be released probably just before the game, but for the most part sold out. And opening day, again, as I was saying, this article was talking about the father-son relationship, that truly, how baseball is just a truly American sport, and a part of our society, a part of our history, and opening day is that day that you celebrate that. It's like Christmas morning for all of us who love baseball so much, and it's my favorite day of the year.
It's the real New Year's Day, is it not?
It is. Yeah, it is. And yeah, it's such a privilege and an honor to work in the sport and to work with the people in the sport and be a part of it, have the responsibility that I have. I really look at it as a stewardship, if you will, and a privilege, and take the responsibility seriously. And I know that there's a lot of great leadership at the Padres organization that are all working really hard, from Buddy Black and his coaching staff to Josh Burns and his staff to many others that, the fans may not know their names, but people like Sue Bodis in our community affairs department, and Eric Meyer, who runs our in-game entertainment, and Mark Guglielmo runs our ballpark operations, and just on and on. Just a wonderful group of people that are very dedicated, love baseball, love what they do, and really are working hard to build something great for the fans in San Diego that they can be proud of.
Any word on how our good friend Tony Gwynn is doing?
Yeah, I talked to Tony actually recently. He sounded great. He was enthusiastic. He was said he was feeling well, and you know, we all wish him well. Tony, if you're listening, get well soon. And I know he said he was feeling much better. He's rehabbing his shoulder a little bit because they took a nerve out of his shoulder, and he was in great spirits. So looking forward to seeing Tony soon.
You bet. Mr. Padre hopefully will join us soon in the TV booth. Well, the team this year winning more games than any National League team and second most in all of baseball. And everyone said, well, but it is just spring training. But I counter that with you develop habits in the spring, and it's a good habit to win. And it's a lot better than saying you're 9-19.
You always take the wins. Yeah, I think it says two things about the 2012 team. It says that these are guys that are, you know, serious about going out there and competing to win every day. And I think it also says, you know, with a deep farm system like we have,
that ball could be big trouble if it's fair, and it is. Gamble produces a grandmaster, and the Brewers now lead it 6-0. Gamble's 5th home run of the spring. He's the man that's going to replace Prince Fielder, and with that kind of stroke, maybe they won't miss the big guy that went to Detroit as much after all. What is this about? Last night, Omar joined us for an inning, and the Giants scored 6 runs, and then you come in here, and the Brewers score 6. You know, you're going to have to come back. We'll pretend.
They weren't scoring until you started talking about us winning all those ball games.
I think the Padres have the Brewers right where they want them.
That's right. We've come from behind all spring long.
You got to stick around and watch all 9, because this Padre team has shown late life. I think what Tim Stauffer tried to do there is try to backdoor a little cutter or a slider. He left it over the inner part of the plate, and Gamble connected.
High fly to Denorfia off the bat of Lucroy, but the Brewers sent 9 men to the plate, a couple of home runs. It started with Gonzalez's solo shot, and it's wrapped up by a grand slam from rookie Matt Gamble. Padres coming up, down by 6, bottom of the 3rd. The 3rd, the Brewers with a big 6-run half of this inning, and it'll be Baker, Darnell, and Stauffer against Narveson, who has retired 6 Padres in order without any ball leaving the infield. Well, Tom Garfinkel, our guest, and looking ahead to Thursday's opening day, Tom, any little surprises, anything that nuggets that we should look forward to?
Well, there's always a lot of pageantry on opening day, and I will share one surprise. Some folks will probably get mad at me for sharing this, but Jerry Coleman, the Colonel, will be throwing out the first pitch.
Ah, that's great.
We're going to have a Jerry Coleman Day in September this year to celebrate Jerry's career and life and everything he's done for the Padres and done for our country and everything else. We want to honor Jerry, and it'll be a great day. So we'll be kind of kicking that off with him throwing out the first pitch on opening day, and certainly I can't think of anybody more deserving.
Well, that's a terrific concept, and I don't think Jerry knows about it, does he?
Yeah, if he's not listening, then he may still not know. But
we'll just say it was a joke. It's around April Fool's Day.
It's right around April Fool's Day. Yeah.
He's going to find out when he checks his Twitter account.
Does he have a Twitter?
I don't know.
Doctor.
He said, I wouldn't tweet if you paid me $1 million. This is James Darnell, a 286 spring. Baker flying out to center field for the first out here in the third inning.
I don't think he's out there running 40-yard dashes anymore like Mud over here. So
it's a good drive to left center field. And that ball up against the wall, and Darnell cruises into second base with a long double. So his good hitting continues. That's the first base knock for the Padres against Chris Narveson.
Thanks for bringing that up, Tom Garfinkel. But
come on, you want to tell the story. Everybody wants to hear the story. There he is, Dave Roberts, right there on screen.
Yeah, Dave Roberts wanted to run the 40-yard dash. He's going to run it tomorrow, being Sunday, and he wanted to kind of practice a little bit. So we went out on the practice field. I had my workout gear on, and I said, hey, Doc, if you want me to be your rabbit, I'll race along with you. So we raced, pretty good time, right behind him, believe it or not. Second race, fine. Third race, hey, I'm going to do one more.
Bad idea. One more.
Bam! Right quad. Bam! No, right hammy, left quad.
Double sniper.
Oh, my goodness gracious. I almost blacked out.
Where were the snipers? One
was on the cell tower out there off field 2, and the other one was from the food room.
That's just when the problem began. Now we got to carry this big guy, this big galoot around. He's immobile.
I'm making good progress, so thank you very much. Still barking a little bit, but I'm getting by just fine.
2 strikes on Stauffer, who has a double in 3 at-bats this spring. Darnell out at second base. Well, thank you very much, Tom Garfinkel. And we're all excited about the start of the season. Certainly high grades on what's happened this spring.
Thank you. You mentioned the wins this spring training. I think a lot of it has to do with the depth in the farm system and the fact that, when you're running out, 40, 50 players out there at these different players in these different games, and other teams are running out 40 or 50, that depth has really shown up this spring. And a lot of talent, the investments that were made years ago by John Moore's and Sandy Alderson's initiative and others in the Dominican are now starting to pay off. You're seeing guys come up like Galvez and Rincon and Valdez, Portillo, etc. You're seeing, the work of Jed Hoyer and Jason McLeod coming to fruition, the work of Josh and Kevin Towers and Paul DePodesta. All these people, all the decisions they made over the years has resulted in this very deep farm system with a lot of talent. I know the coaching staff's excited about it. Baseball operations excited about it. You see some of the numbers here from, Darnell, Jericho, Galvez, Matt Clark, but Casey Kelly, Joe Whelan, who's pitching tonight. Just a host of talent, and it's been fun to watch. It's been a really fun spring because it's been a window into Padres baseball for the future, which is very bright.
Here's Denorfia a chance to get the Padres on the board with 2 outs and Darnell at third base. Well, what happened, and it was predictable that the Padres indeed, as they are rated #1 farm system in all of baseball in spring training, after about the 5th inning, you're going to see the reserves, the varsity gets to rest, that the Padres should beat the other guys' reserves, and that's exactly what has happened. They just have shined in the late innings, and you saw some of the many young kids that have been most impressive. The future looks very bright. They're coming, folks. A lot of talent.
And some of them are here right now. Right. Andrew Kashner, Yonder Alonso, again, the Corey Lupkes, Cameron Mabins. A lot of those guys you're going to see here on opening day, and a lot of young talent in the system.
Shortstop Gonzalez throws out Denorfia. The Padres denied. Thank you, Tom Garfinkel. We'll see you at Petco Park on Thursday.
Thank you, guys. Looking forward to it next Thursday.
6-0 the Brewers. Time for the 4th inning. Well, you've enjoyed the mellifluous voice and talent of Andy Mazur calling Padre baseball on radio with Ted Leitner and Jerry Coleman, and also covering the USD basketball.
Correct.
And I am so appreciative. I'm going to get a few days off this year, and you're going to step into this broadcast booth, and we welcome you aboard.
Well, I appreciate that. It's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to it, and looking forward to a good season with all of with you guys and the radio guys as well.
As Mark would say, hubba hubba.
Oh, hubba. Absolutely.
Glad to have you, Andy.
Thank you, Bud. Good to see you, too. It's time to turn things around a little bit here. 6-0 is the lead for the Brewers. And the batter, Alex Gonzalez, one of their big acquisitions here in the offseason. They've got a whole new left side of the infield for those guys. As the next one is hit into the center field gap there, and a base hit for Alex Gonzalez.
And I mentioned to Dick earlier, Andy, that I think the Padres have the Brewers right where they want them. You've been at spring training for a long time this year, since the start of spring training, and you've seen more games than we have, but the late life is something that's really positive about this Padre team.
Absolutely. And everybody talks about these games not really meaning anything, but I mean, you as a player, you wanted to win these games.
You want to win every game like it's your last game you're going to play. Like, that's the way Bud Black has been going about it. Like it's the 7th game of the World Series. The job is to win ball games.
And they've been doing that late, as you pointed out. They had a called strike there from Tim Stauffer. No official announcement as of yet about the opening day starter, but we can do some math without having to take our shoes off and figure out that 5 days from today would put Tim right on track there for the opening day start. There's one hit into the air to left. And James Darnell will make that play. And heading back to first base is Gonzalez, one away in the top of the 4th.
We talked about Tim Stauffer making good pitches down in the zone. The bite on the slider, the bite on the curveball. Does he get away with one right here? Oh, it's a hanger. But
he did.
Yeah, when you look at the swing, Gomez's front side really flying open, taking all the sting out of that swing. So, hey, at times you're going to make a good pitch, and you might get burned. There are times when you hang a pitch like he just did, and you get away with it.
Hey, Buddy Black and Darren Balsley always talk about that. When you're doing well, when you're going well that day, that hanger's going to get popped up. So Narveson at the plate against his mount opponent Tim Stauffer. They'll get a first one in there. Narveson, a pretty good athlete. Ability to handle the bat a little bit, as we saw in the 3rd inning with that sacrifice. Penciled in as their number 5 starter. And not a bad choice to have a number 5 guy that can get you some innings and keep you out of the bullpen.
A little two-seam fastball here. Ooh, a little breaking ball.
There's a good block there by Baker. Baker figuring to make this team, obviously, as the backup to the newly signed Nick Hundley. And it's always good to have that guy that you can trust to get in there and give Nick some time.
And even though Nick Hundley, being a veteran guy now, I think it will be an advantage to Nick to have a guy like Baker.
And Narveson gets that bunt down, but it'll go foul. Little jump rope right there as that ball touched foul.
Hey, fans, this year you can save when you buy your San Diego Padres tickets early. Prices will vary depending on the game that you want to attend and when you buy. So check out Padres.com for current ticket prices, and be sure to buy early and save. And be sure to wear your Padre gear when you come to the ball yard.
Should be mandatory. At least something Padre, right?
And even those old grays that I wore with the brown stripes.
And now Narveson does get the bunt down, but he will advance the runner now with 2 away. Runner at second base. And back to the top of their order with Ricky Weeks.
Second sacrifice this afternoon for Narveson, so doing a good job advancing that runner.
That was something else that Buddy Black has been talking about quite a bit during the spring, along with Darren Balsley, is to get the Padres pitchers to start bunting a little bit better and holding their own.
Remember when, I believe it was the Texas Rangers came over? I forgot what team it was. It was an American League team. They DH'd, but Buddy elected to have the pitchers hit because, hey, you've got to get ready for the season. You've got to see live pitching, game situation. I want my guys to bunt, or if there's a hit and run, put the ball in play, try to hit it on the ground.
Get used to doing that. There's a couple of games here in the spring where only in the spring would you see one team using a DH and the other team not. As Weeks pops one up into short right. A couple converge, but that ball's going to fall. And I'm not sure exactly if Kyle Blanks thought that Orlando Hudson was going to get that and vice versa.
Well, you never know what type of wind you're going to get here in the Cactus League. And right now, as we speak, it's going from right field to left field. So that ball, it may have been over the stands at one point, maybe a row, maybe the railing, but it came back. Long run for Blanks. And it looked like, when you look at Orlando Hudson, he's cheating over towards the second base bag. So a long run for the O-Dog.
So a strike on Weeks. And the next one grounded sharply to short, but Bartlett able to handle that one and throw it across in time. And the Brewers are done here in their half of the fourth inning. They do get a hit. And a man left as Chase Headley will lead things off for the Padres coming up in the fourth, down 6-0.
Welcome back to Padres baseball on Fox Sports San Diego. Brewers leading the Padres 6-0 as we start the bottom of the fourth inning. And as we close out our time here at the Peoria Sports Complex, this place lives on. And in fact, it's going to be a part of the Padres and Mariners until at least the year 2034. And it's not just about the stadium here in Peoria, which is scheduled thanks to these new renovations and agreement to get $6 million worth of renovations to the stadium. And also, the complex is going to get a big facelift too. In fact, right now it's 38,000 square feet, and that involves things like
All right, Layla, thank you very much. And yeah, I think that kind of does go unnoticed that this place does get used, believe it or not, after we leave.
Nicely done, Layla. Good work. And I believe that this sports complex was one of the first where they had two major league teams sharing. And what a great concept, especially here in Arizona, where it cuts down on the travel. There's always going to be a big league ball game in spring training at the complex. And we've seen more and more of that.
It's a little odd, though, this spring with the Mariners being away. They were in Japan for a while. There was actually a couple of days where there was actually no baseball here at this complex.
Hard to believe this is the 19th year Padres baseball here in Peoria. My goodness, how time flies.
And Arvidsson low there and walks Orlando Hudson. Good start to the Padres fourth inning, trailing by 6. All the 6 runs for the Brewers came in that third inning. And this is a beautiful facility because you go around the Cactus League and there's some of the older ballparks around here that they're not built for today's game. They're not built for today's media or today's fan, and this one certainly is.
More and more teams like us on Fox Sports San Diego televising spring training games. You see more and more of that throughout Major League Baseball, so you got to keep up with the times, right?
You have to adapt, or you don't make it.
This game's about adjustments.
It is about
right?
adjustments. Yeah, I've heard that 1,000 times.
If you're hanging the curveball, you have to make an adjustment.
Chase Headley certainly looked to make some adjustments this year, maybe be a little bit more of a run producer for this ball club. He'll take a strike there to even this count.
Well, Narveson being a soft tosser, we've mentioned this many times, but some hitters might get into the mode to where, okay, he's a soft tosser, I'm going to try to pull everything. This is where you can really hurt Narveson. If he goes away soft, Chase Headley try to rattle that right center field gap.
And looked like that's what he was trying to do there. Inside out swing and foul out of play.
Mentioned it earlier, but Narveson throws the cutter as we take a look at the defense, just shading towards right center field. Niger Morgan on the second baseman side of second base.
Narveson 11-8 a year ago for Milwaukee. It seems to be missing a little bit here, which is good. He's been really locked in the first 3 innings.
See the breakdown. 51 tosses this afternoon. Not a bad ratio for Narveson. Sometimes that can be a little misleading as well.
A ground ball third, and it gets underneath Ramirez, and no play for Gonzalez. Smartly backing up that play. Ramirez went for that little short hop and came up empty. So the Padres with 2 men on.
Narveson did his job. He got the ground ball. Just an in-between hop for Ramirez. The big key there is that the lead runner, Orlando Hudson at first base. Remember, that's a force play. You cannot ease up going into second base. The shortstop backs up and a little flip throw to second base. There's a good chance for a force out, but Orlando slides in successfully to second base.
Well, now each team with an error. That's an error charged to Ramirez. And here is Jesus Guzman, who is impressing a lot here in spring.
He's been fun to watch, isn't he? He's just
Absolutely.
carrying over from what he did last year.
Guy was trying to prove his worth to a major league team. Spent all those years in the minors.
Everywhere I went this offseason, I'd go get my oil changed. People said, we got to get Jesus Guzman in the lineup. I went to go get some vegetables at the market. Guy in produce, we have got to get Jesus Guzman in the lineup. When I went to the sun tanning booth in the offseason, they said, we've got to get this guy in the lineup.
I knew you were doing some kind of sun tanning. You look great. You look marvelous.
Thank you, my friend.
Count even here on Guzman, who got so popular he even had a fake Twitter account. Somebody opened up a Twitter account with his name, yeah. And a pitch outside. Narveson missing up and out, and he's been missing away from these right-handers the last this inning.
Well, you bring up Twitter, Andy, and we're going to be a big part of Twitter this year on Fox Sports San Diego, Facebook, and Twitter.
I think they may catch on. What do you think?
Facebook.com/Fox Sports San Diego and Twitter.com/Fox Sports San Diego. SD, rather. Fox Sports SD on the Twitter.
Now 3-1 here on Guzman. And again, Narveson missing away.
You've been here quite a while, Andy. You ready to get going?
I'm ready to head back to San Diego, yes. In my mind, I'm already there. There's a deep drive in the left. That will send Braun back. He's going to look up, and this one's gone. How about that? Jesus Guzman with a 3-run blast. And the lead has been cut in half. 6-3 Brewers here in the fourth.
.31 fastball. If you throw a fastball, you better make darn sure that you locate it well. Does he go down and get this pitch? Is it a pitch that's down in the zone where Narveson likes to work? Oh, he tried to sneak a little piece of cheese by him, but Jesus Guzman says, Error on number 5 out on the berm. George Brett is out there.
And Blank's following through with a hard smash into center. So Narveson started to show a little weakness here in this fourth inning, and the Padres have hit him hard. And another base runner here, still nobody out, and 3 runs home.
Once again, as we mentioned in the pregame show, we featured the approaches of these hitters for the Padres in resulting 5.9 runs per game. I think we're seeing the same thing right here. 3-1 fastball, get all over it. Come out of your shoes. First pitch fastball to Blanks. Swing it, big boy. And he continues to swing a nice shillelagh with a single up the middle.
definitely good to see in that respect as well. And Jason Bartlett will come up. Bartlett popped out his first time to the plate, 0 for 1 in this game. 6-3 now is the Brewers' lead.
Hey, Jason Bartlett would be the first guy to admit, Andy, I think, once your input on this, but he needs to have a big year.
Oh, yeah. He's looked much smoother defensively. And I think he's probably more healthy this year than he has been in quite some time.
You know, you make a good point, because through the course of a big league season, guys are going to have those little aches and pains. You know, you walk in the clubhouse after a game and you see it, guys got an ice bag. They look like a salmon at the fish market packed in ice.
Bartlett out in front of that one and fouls it out of play. So a big 3-run homer here by Jesus Guzman.
Hey, hopefully that's a common theme this year. The 3-run shot.
The Earl Weevil special. Yeah, the 3-run homer. Gotta love it. Makes pitchers smile a lot. That could be 2. Gonzalez to second for 1, and they'll return, and it's going to be in time. And quickly 2 away. And coming up, Fox Saturday Baseball. It's returning on April 7th. Some of the biggest names on their new ball clubs, including Albert Pujols and the Angels, Prince Fielder and the Tigers, plus the defending World Series champion Cardinals will headline the debut of Fox Saturday Baseball, April 7th at 12:30. Great baseball's back. Spring training starting to wind on down. It's a great time to be a fan. And here is John Baker.
What's your favorite opening day memory?
Probably the first one I ever attended as a kid. Just walking up and seeing the green grass on the field.
And where was that at?
That was in Chicago at Wrigley. You see it on TV all the time, and folks getting a chance to see these games on TV. You just don't realize how green the grass is until you actually get there. This is, of course, before high definition TV.
Yeah.
So, but always special. Going there with the family. Baker fouls that one out of play, left side, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike here on Baker.
Yeah, I don't care what level it is that you're at, whether you go to you live in a rookie ball city, A ball, AA, AAA, up and down the line. Opening day is some kind of special.
Should be a national holiday.
Yeah,
everything should be closed.
My first one was as a player. I never had the chance to go to Wrigley or Old Comiskey Park to experience an opening day. I always watched it on the tube.
The first one I broadcast was pretty special as well. You get that, you get the adrenaline flowing a little bit, getting ready for a new season. Everybody starts nothing and nothing. And Baker will take. Called 3rd strike. But the Padres do a little damage here in this 4th inning, and thanks to Jesus Guzman, he didn't miss this one. Hitting that one deep into the stands and left, and after 4, Brewers have a 6-3 lead. And Jesus Guzman discussing that ball that he hit. It'll probably be about 500 feet by the time he gets done talking about that story with Garth Orge over there at first base. But if we asked the Twitter question a bit earlier at Fox Sports SD, and which player has impressed you the most this spring? And I'm sure a lot of the responses are going to tell us that it's Jesus Guzman, but TJ Briggs SD says Cashner has the stuff to be the stud. And, you know, Cashner is one of those guys that I think you have to put in that conversation as well. That's a good call.
I totally agree. And I know you're a big Twitter fan, Andy.
Oh, Twitter. I live on that thing now.
What's your handle?
I would be at Podscast, P-A-D-S-C-A-S-T. Building up a following, but not like at Mudcat55. You know, there's no way.
I think I'm going to start getting into that a little bit more just to let the Padre fans know what's going on. It's fun to have the interaction.
Absolutely right.
I appreciate all the nice things as well from the Padre fans.
Well, they're craving information. You know, in this day and age of information, give the fans the information.
Absolutely.
It's easy to get.
You know, it's Tim Stauffer's job. Oh, nice changeup right there from the veteran right-hander to hold the Milwaukee Brewers at 6. Let's take a look. Remember earlier in camp we talked about the whipping action of the arm. Good whip action on that changeup from Tim Stauffer.
And Nigel Morgan will take that inside.
Seems like Tim Stauffer this afternoon as well changed speeds on all of his pitches. And that's the beauty of having 3 or 4 pitches. You change speeds on him, it adds a different pitch. There's another changeup.
So a full count here to the man who calls himself not only Tony Plush, but now Tony Hush. Okay. They'll draw a walk.
We mentioned the changeup out of the hand of Tim Stauffer. And Tim Stauffer tells us a little bit about his pitch, the changeup that we've talked about.
It's like a 4-seam changeup, kind of like a split type action I like to get if it's going good. I try to pinch it between my my pinky finger and my pointer finger here, and really this is a pitch I like to have nice and tight in my hand because you can throw it hard and it's going to come out slower.
It's all the arm action, right? And as Tim mentioned, because of the pressure of the ball in his hand and tucked back, as you take a look at the still shot of the changeup, looks like a fastball, but because of the way it's held, it's got that 4-seam rotation as well. All 4 seams are going the same way. Has the illusion of a fastball with the arm in the rotation, therefore throwing off the timing of the hitter. One of the toughest pitches to hit, a good changeup.
So far, not many have been able to change the timing of this hitter at the plate right now, but Stauffer doing a nice job.
And if I had a suggestion to youngsters who want to try to toe the slab and be a pitcher or a coach, locate a fastball and learn how to throw a changeup at an early age.
Good weapons. I think every pitching coach will tell you the same, that that fastball, locating it, is the best pitch you can throw. Braun hits one deep into center. Denorfia backing up on that one nicely. And making the grab, returning to first is Nigel Morgan. That's the first out.
And hypothetically, let's just, this situation, let's say there's a 12-year-old, 10-year-old who wants to throw a fastball and a changeup, right? There might not be a lot of differential as far as the velocity is concerned, but it doesn't matter. You know why? Because you're getting used to the grip of the changeup. You're getting used to the grip of the fastball. It might be the same velocity, but you have to get used to that grip and throwing it with consistency.
And the runner moving. Baker's throw right there on the bag. They're going to get him. John Baker showing off the gun behind home plate. And he cuts down another runner. Second runner he's thrown out here today. And now 2 outs and those bases are empty.
John Baker firing a P right from his ear. And that ball could not have been placed any better to Orlando Hudson. Swipe tag. And he is erased.
And that was one thing we noticed too last year about Padres catchers. Whoever it was behind the dish, they were coming up, throwing. Good timing, good steps toward the second base.
Well, how many times did we see the catchers prior to batting practice at home going out there and working on footwork? Nick Hundley was out there quite a bit.
And it's good to see those young guys, Baker included in that, that are so eager to learn and get better. A little flare into left, or right field, that is. And here comes Kyle Blanks, and he'll make that catch. And the inning has come to an end here. 6-3 Brewers. We go to the 5th.
We go to the bottom of the fifth in Peoria, Arizona. The Milwaukee Brewers lead the Padres 6-3. Hey, follow the Padres with MLB.com at Bat 12 for your iPhone, iPad, or Android. Get spring training scores, stats, highlights, get it all. Live audio and much, much more. Text at Bat 2, that's TO, 31826, or visit Padres.com for details.
A great app, a must-have.
Absolutely. I've got it, and I love it.
So James Darnell leads off for the Padres here in this fifth inning, trailing by 3. Jesus Guzman with a big home run, and a new left fielder here for the Brewers, Norachika Aoki, taking over in left. Narveson working into his fifth inning here. Gets Darnell to swing through that pitch. It'll even the count. Aoki, couple-year deal from the Japanese leagues. They like what he might bring to the table. At the end of the bat, a little flare into right. Weeks misjudging that, tips off his glove, and safe at first is Darnell. Might have been an easier play for the right fielder coming in, but again, a long run. And they'll give Darnell a single on that. He is now 2 for 2.
Yeah, the first sign was backpedaling and a little almost falling on his backside. Rick Weeks, he was not planted under that one or had a good read on it. And as a base runner, you want to take a good, hard, aggressive turn around first base on a play like that. You don't know if that ball's going to kick away in order to take an extra 90 feet.
Stauffer trying to get that bunt down. Can't do it first try.
Got to get that bunt down.
And again, as we mentioned, that's one thing that these guys have been working on. You don't often see a group of pitchers like Tim Stauffer and the rest of the guys going to the batting cage first thing in the morning.
You can't get enough working on your bunting. You know, they've got machines out there, so you really don't need a pitcher. Just feed the machine and work on getting it down the third base line, first base line.
Stauffer, a very good athlete, not just a baseball player, but a very good golfer.
And remember, in a situation like this, Bud Black may put on the Butcher Boy play. He'll show bunt, and then he'll go back and take a swing at it.
Just like that.
How you doing? Look at Tim Stauffer coming through. That was absolutely beautiful.
He says it up here. It happens down there. Love it.
Show bunt. Load the hands back, and the big key on that play is hitting the ball on the ground. Hitting it in the air doesn't do any good. Nice job. Nice execution by Tim Stauffer.
And now sets up a potential rally here with 2 on and nobody out. And the lead batter, Chris Denorfia, looking for his first base hit today. Got the pitch there on the corner. Padres do have activity in their bullpen. We saw earlier Houston Street warming up.
Third time around now for these Padre hitters against Chris Narveson. Let's see if he tries to off-speed these hitters.
And a little flare again into shallow right. That's going to drop in there for a base hit. Being held, though, is Darnell, so they'll be loaded. Padres have them at every station. And the batter, Orlando Hudson.
But there's nothing wrong with station-to-station baseball. You know, we saw that a lot last year, but I think what the Padres possess this year is that hitter that is going to be able to put a charge in one. Let's check out the location on contact. Yeah, that ball is away. It's off the end of the bat. It's not in the sweet spot. And hitters will tell you there are plenty of hits to the right side if you're a right-handed hitter as there are to the left side. So he stayed on that ball nicely. And Padres got a little rally going here.
And Hudson still looking for his first hit. He was on base ahead of the Guzman home run. That is in the 4th. And now they are loaded. Bouncing ball slowly to short. That could be 2 right there. It will be, but a run's going to score. As Darnell crosses home plate, but 2 big outs right there. Padres inch a bit closer here and within a couple of runs now. 6-4 Brewers. But it does erase a couple of runners and put a man at third base here with 2 away. So a 6-3 double play. always like to say that. If you're scoring at home.
And a lot of people do.
You'd be surprised, yes. And Headley on the first pitch. Sharp ground ball there to the shortstop, and Gonzalez will throw him out. And that'll do it for the Padres here in the 5th. They do get a run on a 3 base hits and leave a man. 6-4 Milwaukee to the 6th. Well, in case you're just joining us here, it's been a day of long balls. As the Brewers get into it first, Alex Gonzalez hits that one deep to left center, and then the big blow, the Matt Gamble grand slam off of Tim Stauffer. But not to be outdone were the San Diego Padres, and a hot hitter by the name of Jesus Guzman got 3 back in a hurry. That home run to deep left center field. Fumbled in the crowd, but hey, 3 runs are 3 runs. And we stand at 6-4 as we go to the top of inning number 6. It's Andy Mazur sitting in for Dick Enberg. He'll be back in the top of the 7th along with Mark Grant. And it's a pleasure to be here with you. Houston Street will come in now for the Padres and take over for Tim Stauffer.
Well, Tim Stauffer had 1 bad inning, that being the 3rd inning. We showed you the grand slam, and Houston Street now enters the ball game. All about pinpoint control from the closer of the San Diego Padres this year. A lot of hard work on that hat as we look at the salt buildup on that cap of Houston Street, and he's you know what that looks like? Almost the old Seattle Pilots hat when they had the wings, the stripes on the stripe on front, and then they had the scrambled eggs on the bill.
Gamble gets into another one in a deep right field. If it's fair, it's a home run, and it is fair, and it is a home run. Number 2 of the day for Gamble, his 6th of the spring. And the Brewers' lead is now 7-4. Yeah, those are no doubters.
Well, it's all about location, and the pitch from Houston Street, first pitch, trying to get ahead. Look at the glove. See the glove of John Baker? He was set up away. He has to reach across the heart of home plate, and Gamble is all over it. Wow.
And that was not wind-aided by any stretch.
The guy out there in right field needs to pull up his britches.
Jonathan Lucroy, catcher for the Brewers, a hitter here against Houston Street.
Now, it's always interesting to see how a pitcher will rebound. I mean, Houston Street has been around the block.
Now, the interesting thing about Street, too, you mentioned a guy that works hard to get outs. A little bit of a different style than Padre fans have been used to over the last couple of years with Heath Bell blowing that fastball by everybody. There's one in the gap in the left center. Long run there. Denorfia still chasing, but he can't make the play. It's going to one hop against that wall. And heading into second now with a double is Lucroy. Wasn't sure if Denorfia was going to be able to get to that. He kind of put the glove out there at the last second, but it tipped right off.
A great effort by Chris in center field. No warning track yet. And, you know, it may have looked like he even drew leather. Maybe that ball hit him in the foot on the way down. But the main thing is that Chris Denorfia is up and going back to his position in center field. You see guys get hurt in a play like that.
So the meeting on the mound to try to figure out how to deal with a pinch hitter. Cesar Torres will come to the plate here, bat for the first time for Milwaukee. It's a pretty good little shortstop combination that they have there with Gonzalez, the starter, and a guy that has a ton of major league experience there, and Torres backing him up. So Houston Street will try to right things here. Has not yet recorded an out.
It'll be interesting to see the additions that the Brewers have added to their ball club this year. You know, Andy, hitting in that ballpark, hitter friendly. Miller Park.
Oh yeah. That's a hot smash, just foul. You know, the thing that you look up about the Brewers, not only the fact that they hit 185 home runs as a ball club, which was first in the National League, but they won 57 games at home. That was a record. Ron Renneke, I'm sure, very happy about those numbers and hopes it all continues for his team. Street missing low that time. Torres has been around many a year, most recently with Baltimore. Seven to 4 is the Brewers lead as we play here in the top of the 6th inning.
Hey,
and that got him. No chance to get out of the way of that one. It had a bad sound to it coming off of the guy's leg.
Well, Houston Street continues to just miss big time with location. It looked like he wanted that pitch away, kind of yanking it a little bit.
So Torres not yet to the bag being attended to, but he'll get over to that bag and stay in this game. That's not a real meaty part.
No, when you get down near the knee area, it might leave a mark.
So they'll try to settle Houston Street down on the mound as well, and as Torres will try to get some feeling back in that leg. I know it's talked about a lot, especially here in spring training, when a guy who is your closer comes into a game in the 6th inning in a situation like that, and there's no adrenaline, there's no real game type of elements here, and it's tough to concentrate sometimes. Do you agree with that?
I do, but
hit well on the left. That'll send Darnell back. He'll just have to look, and this one's going to leave the ballpark as well. Another home run for Milwaukee. This time it's Carlos Gomez with a 3-run homer, and the Brewers have reached double figures, 10-4.
once again, location from here. Look at this is the old Butcher Boy play. Did you see that? He showed bunt, pulled back. How many times do you see that? And Gomez knew that he connected and got that one.
Gomez, the 3-run homer.
Getting back to your point regarding closer, remember Trevor Hoffman, his inning was the 6th inning, was it not? Or the 5th inning? And that's why I think it's all between the ears as a closer. Sure, you don't have the, your music coming in the game. You don't have the capacity crowd. And that's why I think for a closer, you have to be mentally tough. And in a spring training game, you have to be extra mentally tough because you don't have all that.
You have to create your own. So here's Narveson down 0-2. But 4 runs in after a 6-run third. All the damage in 2 innings. And Street records his first out. He has the pitcher looking. We'll go back to the top of the order now for Ricky Weeks. Narveson, after a couple of successful sacrifices, heads back to the dugout, and Street has his first out here in the 6th.
I think that's one of those that goes right along with, the Butcher Boy and then swings home run. How about the hitter that comes up to the plate, waiting, takes the hand off the bat, asks time, kind of moves out, and then all of a sudden reacts, loads back up, bam. That's pretty impressive.
Weeks will take a strike. Who used to do that a lot was a former Padre, Jerry Hairston Jr. Would always try to call for time.
Yes, he did.
Put that backhand out, and then it wouldn't be granted. He'd get back in there and rip.
Yeah.
Got in front of that one, swing and a miss. So Ricky Weeks, healthy. At least the Brewers hope so. All-star for them a year ago.
Good pitch.
That didn't miss by much, did it?
Did not. Nice slider, nice tight slider from Houston Street. Let's check out the location. Watch the glove of Baker. It might have been off the plate a little bit. Go right back out there. He got fastball right on the outside corner.
Well, San Diego Padre games, they're much more fun when you bring a group. Groups as small as 20 people can enjoy big savings, special seating, and a scoreboard welcome. A whole bunch more as well. Petco Park offering several exclusive group facilities to fit your group's needs. Reserve those group tickets today or private suite by calling 619-795-5555.
How about back-to-back strikeouts for Houston Street? That tells me he's making an adjustment. He's not letting the 1-2 hits in a row, the hit batsman, then the home run affect him.
And he'll face a pinch hitter here, the former San Francisco Giant, Travis Ishikawa. Once a very promising young player in the Giants organization, now trying to hang on here. And Street gets behind against the left-hand swinging Ishikawa. Street gets that call on the outside corner. But Houston Street, a dependable closer over the years with the Rockies, and again brings that different style, but one that Buddy Black is hoping is going to ring up a bunch of saves this year. Didn't get much on that one, and had a little fly ball into short right, taken there by Kyle Blanks, and the inning has come to an end, but the Brewers do some more damage. They score 4 and take a 10-4 lead heading into the bottom of the 6th. A 10-4 lead for the Brewers here. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and let's send things down to Layla, who has today's starter, Tim Stauffer.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, joined by Tim Stauffer. Tim, you had a third inning that wasn't ideal, but that was pretty much it. Talk about your outing today.
Overall got the work in. Obviously, that third inning made some pitches. That the home run was kind of the dagger. If I'd bared down a little bit, made a pitch, be a different ball game right now. But just trying to work on a few things and get the work in.
We got to talk about your offense though in the 5th inning. It was almost like it was called. They talked about it upstairs, and then maybe 2 seconds later it happened. You show bunt, you end up getting an infield single that helped that 1-run rally there. Yeah,
had a little success doing that a couple starts ago, and just something we've been working on, during the spring. Something that can help yourself, help you stay in a game, maybe get a win here and there.
We know that the opening day starter has not been named yet. How does that affect you when you go out for spring training, if at all?
Not at all. I mean, we're going out here. Everybody's getting their work in, whatever day they're pitching. that'll be a trickle down effect. Every guy out there is more than capable of handling the duties, and I think deserving as well. So I think just going in, getting your work in, getting ready for the season is the biggest thing.
And what have you worked on with Darren Balsley, your pitching coach?
Just trying to fine-tune the mechanics a little bit, and for me specifically, my front shoulder, keeping it down a little bit, and just getting a better downward plane. A couple starts had the ball creep up a little bit, and just trying to keep the ball down.
We're almost done here with spring training. What are you looking forward to about the season starting?
Getting on the routine of having some night games, and getting your rest, and just being on a little more of a set schedule. The first couple weeks of spring are exciting. After that, it kind of drags a little bit, and you get antsy for the season to start. So I think everybody in here is ready for game number 1.
Well, we're looking forward to it, and maybe a few more bunts and then singles out of you, Tim Stauffer.
Thank you. Thanks, family.
All right, guys, back up to you.
All right, Layla and Tim, thank you very much. Appreciate that as Guzman takes the walk to lead things off. Padres down 10-4. As Kyle Blanks will foul that one out of play.
Good stuff from Tim Stauffer, and we appreciate him taking time to talk to Layla about his outing this afternoon. And we did a pretty comprehensive report on Tim and his mechanics before the ball game. And he touched upon that front shoulder, that front elbow, keeping it down rather than being up in the air and having to work uphill rather than downhill.
Blanks will take a ball outside.
Let's take a look at Tim Stauffer and the glove side, the front shoulder. Remember, we showed early on, it's still a little high, but he did make some bad pitches up in the zone.
And a ball booted on the infield. The new third baseman is Brooks Conrad. And a little infield single right off the bat there of Kyle Blanks.
Now, in that particular pitch that we saw from Tim Stauffer, from that angle, it did look like he was still high on that front side. The elbow up. Remember, in the pregame show, we talked about up above the eye almost. Now, can he make the adjustment to where, see, it didn't look like he really got extended on that one as well, and that's the point I made early in the pregame show. Kind of looked like he cut that pitch off. And we've come to learn that that actual pitch was a single, a hit given up by Tim Stauffer. So, hey, it's an adjustment that he's going to have to make.
As we said before, a game of adjustments, and obviously this is what spring is for. Try to get that work in and make those mechanical changes. And if there's anybody that can find those mechanical changes in a pitcher, it's the Padres pitching coach, because he doesn't get enough credit, I don't think, around baseball, at least publicly. I think that there's some folks that privately talk about the job Darren Balsley does, including us. And the pitch to Bartlett is outside. Robertson starting to get up there in pitches. Bartlett just got a piece of that one. 2-1 here on Bartlett. Bartlett grounded into a double play. 0 for 2 in this game. Figures to be the everyday shortstop, and it's amazing to think that through all the injuries that we've heard about him and that he had last year, he managed to play 139 games, most on the team. Fouls one right back towards us. I was ducking, by the way. You see Manny Parra getting loose, left-hander for the Brewers.
And Narveson was set to go 90 pitches this afternoon.
First 2 men on here for the Padres in the 6th. And a grounder foul.
That was the 89th toss for Narveson this afternoon.
And they usually have those set numbers as you move forward through the spring, right?
Yeah. Each outing, they'll stretch it out a little bit more. Get closer to opening day, maybe the last tune-up before you start the season. You'll stretch it out, 90 to 100.
Bartlett gets into one to left. Turns their left fielder around, still moving back, and then dropped the ball. That's the new left fielder, Prince, out there. Run is going to score, and everybody else moves up as Guzman crosses the plate. And it's now a 10-5 Brewers lead on an error on the left fielder, Prince.
Boy, he was twisting and turning, having to deal with the wind, having to deal with the sun. He's got the old school sunglasses on. Turn to the left, turn to the right, stand up, sit down. I got no chance. Look at clank. Hey, nobody feels worse than number 93. And the runner's got to hold up, right? Oh, the ball was so far deep in left field that Jason Bartlett cruises into second base.
Absolutely. Second and third now, and a new pitcher coming on here for the Milwaukee Brewers will be Manny Parra, jogging out of that left field bullpen, and he'll come on in place of Narveson. 10-5 Brewers will still bat here in the 6th inning. That guy's got his little NBA shorts on there, hiked up nice and high there for coming up tonight on Fox Sports San Diego. Chris Paul and the Clippers will host the Utah Jazz live from the Staples Center. Coverage begins at 6:30 with Clippers live, followed by the tip-off at 7:30. Coming up tonight on Fox Sports San Diego.
What a beautiful day
Absolutely.
For a big league spring training ball game.
And Manny Parra, the left-hander, on the mound.
Homegrown Brewer Manny Parra started his professional career in 2002.
John Baker bounces one to the right side. That's going to get a run in. And a nice play by the second baseman, Gannett, to get the runner at first base. But coming home to score is Kyle Blanks, and it's now 10-6. Productive outs.
Everybody's moving. The pitcher, the first baseman goes after it, but then lays out. And then watch out. You want to get out of the way so you don't get run up the backside.
So here is Darnell. And the runs just keep on coming here on this bright, sunny Saturday afternoon. 16 runs and 17 hits combined for these two teams. And Darnell 2 for 2, as you see. And Darnell hits one the opposite way. That'll be Davis, the new right fielder, camping under that one to make the catch, but tagging and heading home and scoring easily is Jason Bartlett. Padres have put up a 3 spot here and are now down by 3, 10-7 here in the 6th. So a sac fly for James Darnell.
Nice approach. Trying to get back and hopefully get 10 runs or more. We've seen a lot of late offense from this Padre team.
So pinch hitter coming up here for the Padres, backup catcher Brad Davis. Got some at bats early in spring when Nick Hundley was laid up with that right side injury. Now the bases are empty here for Parra. 3 runs in, 10-7 Milwaukee. In front of that one. And Davis now down in the count. So each starter now out of the game for both the Brewers and the Padres. Final tune-ups before opening day.
And players cannot wait to pack up and head out of Arizona.
Tomorrow at about 3:45, I'll predict, you'll hear the gentlemen start your engines.
Like Tim Stauffer said, one of the things that players most look forward to is just getting back into that routine, getting back to your hometown and getting back into the routine of going to the ballpark.
And getting to sleep in a little bit. Does a body good. Swing and a miss. And Davis down on strikes to end the Padres' 6th.
Andy, thanks for jumping in the saddle, doing a little PXP, play-by-play. Nicely done, my friend.
Absolutely, sir. My pleasure. Dick will rejoin you in a moment. 10-7 Milwaukee.
Andy Mazer.
And welcome back to the Peoria Sports Complex. A lot going on here. 10-7 is the score. Padres down by 3, trying to catch up with the Brewers. Been a heck of an offensive show, to say the very least. And Dick and Mark coming up on Padres Live. The post-game show should be very interesting. We're going to break down Tim Stauffer's performance as he looks to get himself on track in preparation for the season opener. That's coming up. We're also going to hear from Bud Black, and we're going to ask him when he plans to make his choice for the opening day starter. And Dick Enberg, we know you've got a lot to talk about. What a fascinating spring training it has been from an offensive perspective. So, Dick, we're going to have you down with us there on the post-game show. Should be a lot of fun and still a lot of baseball left to be played today, guys.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Well, these spring training games are mindful of National Football League action. Padres a field goal down, 10-7. And Joe Thatcher on the hill, the left-hander from Kokomo, Indiana. And he'll face Aoki. Then Conrad and Prince, as manager Ron Renicky has gone to the wholesale changes. All the starters are out except Luke Croy, the catcher. Brad Davis stays in the game behind the plate, relieving John Baker. Home run balls today. Brewers with 4 of them, accounting for 9 of their 10 runs. Jesus Guzman, a 3-run shot for San Diego.
Yeah, on a day like today, the ball is going to travel well. And here's a guy who can put a pop into one as well. He signed a 2-year deal, Aoki. 6-time Gold Glover, 3-time batting champ in Japan. Going to play a lot in right field.
He's been hot of late, Mark Grant. Aoki. Last 21 at bats, hitting .571. There's that typical fall away swing, and he brushes one to second base, almost legs it out. Hudson to Guzman for the first out here in the 7th inning.
Almost Ichiro-like, huh? The high leg kick, and you talk about just slapping at the baseball, putting it in play. That's exactly what Aoki does, and he gets somebody about a step, hustling down the line.
Brooks Conrad steps in. Conrad hitting just .208 this spring, but hitting with some pop. A couple of doubles and 3 home runs. Thatcher had trouble getting himself in full health the last couple of years out of spring training, but solid this year. They babied him along, didn't hurry him. And he has shown the results. It looks as if he's going to answer the opening bell with his best stuff.
This is like his first healthy spring training in 4 years for the left-hander. It's got to be a lot of fun for Joe Thatcher as well, and not having to worry about going out and seeing if his shoulder's going to be sore.
Scooter Gannett was announced in the leadoff spot, but he's going to hit next, with Prince hitting first. The delight of spring training. You get to the 7th inning and the candy store is open. All the flavors available. Everybody gets a bite. And Thatcher unhappy with himself as he loses Conrad. 1-out walk. Solid Springs. Edinson Volquez, 5 games. Certainly impressive. Opposing hitters batting only .179. Thatcher 9 outings, 8 innings. Just a handful of hits against him. And Anthony Bass, who got high grades from Darren Balsley yesterday. If you weren't with us on our telecast, Mark Grant and Balsley giving grades to the pitchers, and Bass high marks.
You know, in spring training could not be sometimes the most pleasurable place to pitch, because the infield is like parking lot. The ball travels, so to see those numbers from those 3 pitchers, that's very refreshing. Hopefully they can carry it over into the season.
Gannett fouls that one off. So if you're just joining us, the Brewers came up with a 6-run 3rd inning, capped by Matt Gammel's grand slam home run. The inning started with Alex Gonzalez, a solo shot off starter Tim Stauffer. Padres came back, cut that lead in half with a 3-run homer, Jesus Guzman. And then Houston Street roughed up in his 1 inning. The 6th inning, gave up a leadoff homer to Gammel, his 2nd of the game. A double to Lucroy, hit a batter, and then Carlos Gomez bluffed a bunt and hit a home run with a half swing to make it 10-4. Saw fly ball to center. Denorfia with the squeeze and the 2nd out. Padres got 3 back in the 6th inning, so it's 10-7 here in the 7th inning. And Tuesday, the Padres return to Petco for a spring training matchup against the Royals. Coverage begins at 6:30 here on Fox Sports San Diego with Padres Live, brought to you by Cox. Tuesday night, join us on Fox Sports San Diego. Clayton Richards scheduled to be the starter Tuesday night against former Giant Jonathan Sanchez, the lefty. LaCroix, the only Brewer starter still in the lineup, has lined to short, flied to center, and doubled to left center field. He is a tough out. My memory of LaCroix the last couple of years, he just fouls off a lot of pitches. And finally wears down the man on the mound and gets something he can hit.
Yeah, if you throw him a mistake, he will capitalize on it.
From Louisiana Lafayette University.
And through time, Jonathan LaCroix has been one of those guys also that now feels comfortable being in the big league uniform and putting up decent numbers at the big league level.
Just signed an extension of his contract, 5 more years, much like the Padres have done with Maben, Hundley, and then the Padres again making news last night as they extended the contract of Corey Lupke. 4 years plus 2 option years. Pretty much a pattern for the smaller market teams. You've got it. It's interesting. It's a risk reward. You say, okay, he's young enough that if he stays healthy, we figure that 3 years from now he's going to be worth twice this amount. So let's give him the money now and make sure that he's in the fold.
And you look through the course of history of Major League Baseball back in the day. Remember, John Hart was the general manager of the Cleveland Indians. He did that. And then, of course, Josh Burns, when he's over in Arizona with the Diamondbacks, went along that same pattern, tying up some players long term.
2 outs. Conrad at first base. And a foul away.
There's one of your foul balls, Dick. LaCroix fouling off a lot of pitches.
Brewers guilty of a couple of errors today and cost him some runs in the last inning. A couple of unearned runs. They committed 111 errors last year. That was 13th in the National League in terms of worst fielding percentage. Good stop by Davis. He had to dig behind the hitter and somehow came up with the catch. Look at this move by Davis. Now a little videotape block there, but well done.
Nice maneuver by Davis going to his left. I mean, that's almost like a hockey goalie getting screened in the crease. That ball going underneath LaCroix as he skips some rope.
2-2 the count, and a visit to first base by Thatcher.
He'll move to his left.
Boy, that is a very, you think about the great plays made by the infielders and outfielders, and we praise them and oh my them. The catchers routinely make a play like that is really outstanding in a small glove, tough glove. Count remains level at 2-2 to LaCroix. Top of the 7th inning, the Brewers with a 10-7 lead. Who is our field goal kicker here? And I need 3 here in these last 3 innings.
Well, hey, get 2 guys on. Have Jesus Guzman kick a field goal, 3-run shot.
Yeah, he kicked one earlier.
Yeah.
Another foul by LaCroix.
Next pitch being number 7 to LaCroix from Thatcher. He's doing his best impression of Luke Appling. Old aches and pains fouling off pitches.
I thought that was your nickname, Old Aches and Pains.
Old aches and pains.
Only recently.
It was the last 3 days.
Runner goes, and another foul.
Yeah, they say, Grandpa, you just can't be running with those young kids like you used to.
I learned a valuable lesson. I won't be doing the 40-yard dash anymore.
You're kind of more built for that 400 meters.
Long distance?
No, that's just kind of the 400-meter sprint, but you don't have to go all out like that.
Right.
Grounded to short. Short way for Bartlett to partner Hudson, and the inning is over. They finally get LaCroix to make an out. No runs, no hits, a man left. Stretch half of the 7th. The Padres need 3 to tie. Great scenery in the desert, those magnificent cacti, succulents that abound here in the desert.
Love the saguaro cactus.
It's like you see them in the distance, almost like soldiers at attention out on the horizon. Denorfia gets into one to left field, a deep drive, and that ball is off the wall. And Denorfia eases into second base with a leadoff double, and here come the Padres trying to rally again. Denorfia with the Padres' 8th hit of the game.
Swinging early with authority. That ball is right down the middle, belt buckle high. Great extension from Chris Denorfia. Good looking swing from Chris. Great extension. And he'll call it a big league afternoon and take it on in.
Pinch runner for Denorfia, one of the youngsters that have been called up from deep in the minor league camp. Grab his name for you. What was it you said the other day? You're watching a Texas Ranger game, and the graphic when they put in a pinch runner?
The Cardinals, actually, from Florida. Right, pinch runner at third base. They didn't know the guy's name, so they just put up on the graphic some minor league guy.
That's about where we are right now. As Orlando Hudson, he's walked and scored, grounded out and grounded into a double play today. They have a list of the 40-man roster, the non-roster players, the reassigned players, the option players, and then some other guys that come up out of nowhere, and this young man is one of those. And of course there's no, there we go, it's Na. He was acquired from the Cleveland Indians. He's only 20 years old, Korean. Think they'll pick him off?
Nah.
Think he's got pretty good speed, or just not? Wonder if he'll get to hit.
Nah.
Oh no. And Hudson backs off with that inside pitch from Parra.
See him trying to pound the ball inside. Well, Parra's objective here is to try to keep the ball in front of the runner, meaning a ground ball to third or a sharp grounder to short, so Na would stay at second base. Now on the flip side, Hudson's trying to maybe inside out something and hit it to the right side.
Checks his swing, and he goes, and Hudson down on strikes.
It looked like a changeup. Down and away. Orlando thought that he had checked his swing, but I think he went.
So one out as Hudson strikes out, and Chase Headley looking for his first base hit today. He's 0 for 3, struck out safe on an error and grounded out. Breaking pitch for a strike. Matt Clark, who's entered the game at first base, is on deck. He's had a terrific spring. Just more on Na. He's born in Seoul, the capital of South Korea, and he came over with Cashner from the Cubs, not Cleveland, as part of the Anthony Rizzo deal. He's only 20. They feel he's got a future. At 258 last year at Peoria. Might try to steal third. Headley with the count 1-2. So a couple of strikeouts for Parra.
Good changeup for Parra. Very nice. Orlando Hudson got him swinging on the check swing, and Chase Headley with the full swing. Yeah, good changeup will bring you to your knees.
See if Matt Clark can continue his outstanding hitting of this spring. Look at those numbers. 425 with 3 homers, a dozen runs batted in. The 12 RBIs leading all Padres this spring. He's won a couple of games in the late going with a big base hit.
Yeah, this will be a good test for Matt Clark. Lefty on lefty. Bona fide left-handed pitcher on the mound, and Manny Parra. Clark's been swinging the hot bat. Believe me, this is an at-bat that all the coaching staff will remember.
Almost clipped him with the inside fastball. Clark probably, his ticket is punched to Tucson in the AAA Pacific Coast League. But with his outstanding hitting this spring, he's caught the eyes of scouts that wander these environs during the spring. And his value has certainly increased. Might indeed make it up to the big club during the year, depending on an injury, or perhaps could be involved in a trade. And he drills this one to right field, but he got just off the head of the bat, didn't quite hit it long enough. It came close. Padres waste a leadoff double by Denorfia. After 7, it remains 10-7. Wholesale changes made by Bud Black here as we go to the top of the 8th inning. Luke Gregerson will come in to pitch. And a reminder that coming up on Thursday, our coverage of opening day of this 2012 season from Petco Park against the Dodgers will begin at 2:30. Game time a bit after 4 o'clock. All the ceremony, pomp and circumstance of opening day sellout crowd. We hope you'll be at Petco. If you can't make it, join us here on Fox Sports San Diego. Let's go down to Layla Rahimi.
Thanks, Dick. I'm joined by Chris Denorfia. You were 2 for 4 today with a double. What were your thoughts on what you were able to do today?
Well, more than just me, I think you're seeing the whole team put together some good at bats and square some balls up, and we really hope that we can carry this over through the season. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's almost like a ceiling in spring training because we're almost done. How much are you guys looking forward to getting back to San Diego and just getting together?
Yeah, we're all packed up. Our cars are already on the way out there, so we're really excited. We had a good spring, and we're getting everybody pretty much there healthy. So that's the 2 most important things.
You got a couple games left, though. What does get taken care of during this time, at least these last few days? Because I know it's hard because you're having to look ahead too.
Well, we're already kind of in our routines, and And we just want to keep that going. We just want to keep this momentum that we have and just have some more good at-bats before the gates open.
You saw some good at-bats after the third inning out of you guys. Is that just another sign of what you've been able to do all spring training with the late inning stuff?
Yeah. I think you're seeing a lot of, especially our late innings, our younger guys are coming in, and you're seeing the future of the team right there, and they're doing a wonderful job, and I can't wait to see some of them up there.
Sounds good, Chris. We appreciate it. Dick and Mudd, back to you.
So leadoff double by Itsuris, and ground out now by Davis as Itsuris moves over to third. And with one out, the Brewers with a chance to add to their 10-7 lead. Luke Gregerson is on the mound. Gregerson's last outing 2 games ago. He had his best stuff of the spring. That slider of his was the slider of old that terrorized opposing hitters.
Absolutely. And pitching coach for the Padres, Darren Balsley, has mentioned that he feels once Luke gets out of Arizona, his ball moves quite a bit. He'll have more control of that pitch as he gets into the everyday environs of the National League West and the National League.
Pinch hitter is Jason Jaramillo. And he drives it to left field, but it's right at left fielder Na, and they'll not score on a sacrifice fly because the base runner Itsuris was caught 15 feet down the line and couldn't get back to tag up.
That's one of those plays where a runner at third base, and I'm sure Coach Ed Cedar, the Milwaukee Brewers third base coach, would let the runner know as soon as that ball is struck, you got to go back to the bag, because if it drops, chances are you're going to score, right? Crack of the bat, I'm going to go. Well, wait a second. That ball might be caught.
That should have been a run.
As soon as that ball is struck, you need to get back to that third base bag.
Hitting in the leadoff spot, Josh Prince, his first at bat. Gregerson figures, as he has been, the top hold pitcher in that bullpen, working the 7th inning with Cashner the 8th and Street the 9th.
Nice. There's the slider we know and love out of the hand of Luke Gregerson.
For keeping score, and it's tough to do it with all these changes. Gregerson announced will hit in the 2nd spot in the batting order. See, when you're a commissioner someday, it's got to be a rule in spring training. When you make all those changes, you have to put them in the exact position of the man they replace, so then it figures logically where they're going to bat.
That would make our job a lot easier.
That's more fun this way. It's like working a puzzle.
Sure.
You can do a crossword, you can do Sudoku, but then you can come to a spring training game and try to figure out who's batting where. And he chases that breaking ball. Out will be recorded at first base. And that's it for the Brewers in the 8th inning. A leadoff double, but Itsuris dies at third. Opening day is sold out, fans, but you can catch the Padres and the Dodgers a long 4-game weekend series. Friday night at 7, Saturday 5:30 game, and Sunday at 1 o'clock. And for you folks coming out on Friday, you'll receive a 2012 scheduled cling presented by Aladdin Bail Bonds. Tickets for the weekend going fast. We're going to have some big crowds to open this season at Petco. Don't you wait. You buy early, you save money at Padres.com or call 619-795-5555. New pitcher for the Brewers here in the last of the 8th inning is Jose Veras. Good job by Manny Parra. He worked 2 innings, allowed only 1 hit, no runs, as he held the 10-7 lead.
Well, when you look at the numbers for Jose Veras, the one thing that jumps out to me is the innings pitched at 71, fewer hits. Only 54 hits surrendered in those 71 frames. And the opponent's batting average at 206. That's a nice little year for Jose Veras, as he was a bucko in Pittsburgh with the Pirates.
Came over to Milwaukee in an offseason trade for third baseman Casey McGee. Jace Peterson, left-handed hitting shortstop. He was one of the top draft picks of the Padres last June. They took Spangenberg first, and I believe Peterson was the second selection for them. So they have 2 middle infielders. Peterson destined to be a shortstop, and Spangenberg a second baseman, both left-handed hitters. It's the first time we've seen him all spring in the major league game. He was 58th overall selected. Is a football player at McNeese State. Chopped to short. And run. Out by a stride. 1 away here in the 8th inning. And as soon as we have the final out, the post-game show, a lot of things to discuss, ruminate over with the pitching performance of Stauffer today. Does he become the opening day pitcher? Will Bud Black change his mind about that? Any other changes with a doubleheader, day-night doubleheader? The Padres play the Mariners again here at Peoria at 6 o'clock. And another ground ball to short. Swept there by Stokes. And he is out as well. A couple of ground outs from Veras. That'll bring up Alberto Martinez, a young outfielder. This is a thrill for these kids who have been here all spring long, and it's a little reward. I'm sure that the coaches got together with the minor league managers and coaches and said, you know, we just want kids maybe that have worked harder than the rest, done a good job for you. We're going to bring them up today and give them a chance to see major league pitching.
Yeah, what a treat that is, because on the minor league side of the clubhouse and the facility here in Peoria, you know, to get your manager to come up to you and say, hey, you know what, they're going to need you on the big league side. Have some fun. Bud Black wants to take a look at you. What a treat. And you get a day's worth of meal money as well.
All those inside benefits. 10-7 Milwaukee, 2 outs here in the 8th. And both sides now finishing the game with reserves. Sharply hit, but on one big hop to third. Brooks Conrad with a throw, and Veras 1, 2, 3 all on ground outs. We've completed 8 at Peoria, and Milwaukee leads by 3. Thayer will pitch the 9th inning against the Brewers. 10 runs on 11 hits. 4 of those 11 hits home runs to account for 9 of the 10 runs. San Diego 7 runs on 8 hits. The big blow, Jesus Guzman's home run with 2 on, his 4th of the year. Denorfia with a couple of hits, Kyle Blanks with 2 hits, and James Darnell with a brace of hits for the Padres to lead their attack. Thayer this spring making his 10th game appearance.
A little high on the walk side. Strikeouts, almost a strikeout to innings pitch, but he's kept the ball in the ball yard quite well.
Ishikawa is the leadoff hitter for Milwaukee, with Aoki and Conrad to follow here in the top of the 9th inning. Thayer, a veteran, 31 years of age, attended Chico State, Northern California, Huntington Beach High School. Couple of years, visited the big leagues with Tampa Bay. Last year with the Mets, 11 games. Padres signed him as a minor league free agent. Go back through his minor league career, he had 4 years ago some terrific numbers at Montgomery. He was 9-0. And he strikes out Ishikawa.
Good late movement on that last pitch. Great arm action from Dale Thayer. Looks like a two-seamer. Two-seam fastball with some run on it, and not a good swing by Ishikawa.
He originally signed out of college as a non-drafted free agent by the Padres. He was in the San Diego organization, Fort Wayne and Lake Elsinore, and about 4 years, and then went to Tampa Bay, the Rays, in a trade that sent Russell Branyan to the Padres. Remember that one? Aoki grounded to second, his other at bat. Another ground ball to second that goes right under the glove of Gannett. Scooter had one scoot right by him for an E4. Oh, 1 out, base runner, and that brings up Brooks Conrad. Walked his only at bat.
Well, you got to get square up to the baseball. And you know what? Judging by that ground ball, he had plenty of time. He went or took an around route rather than straight to his right, kind of square up and get those hands out in front. Plenty of time to get in front of that ground ball.
These young guys playing today, most of them will be at A or lower A ball this year. A couple of Padres youngsters that'll be at San Antonio caught the eye of Bud Black. He talked about them today. Giudy Valdez and Jonathan Galvez. He called them the Ezzes. He said, I really like those two Ezzes. He had a big smile on his face. He said they're going to be at San Antonio. And San Antonio, the Missions won 100 games last year, more than any team in all of baseball. He says they're going to be really good again this year.
Tell you what, you win 100 games in the minor leagues. What is it, 140 game schedule? I mean, that's a lot of wins.
Chop to the first baseman Clark. There's one. Back to first, not in time. With Thayer allowing the first baseman Clark to handle that throw. Safe on the fielder's choice is Conrad. Scooter Gannett is the hitter. It was Felix Cabrero that at second base now for the Padres with the error in this inning. Scooter might have a lot of mobility, but he can't quick run play on both sides. He pops it up, and in fair territory, the out made by the Padres, and here comes San Diego, bottom of the 9th inning with 3 needed to tie. As we go to the last of the 7th, that Padres baseball brings you a lot of action in 2012, especially if you have your season tickets. Enjoy great benefits all season long, discounted parking, exclusive events, and much more. And it starts as low, season tickets now, as low as $7 a ticket. Plans are flexible, fit your own needs. Don't wait, get your 2012 Padres season tickets today. You call 619-795-5555. Well, John Axford had a super season last year for the Milwaukee Brewers with 46 saves and 48 chances as he replaced Trevor Hoffman, and he credits Trevor with really tutoring him. He benefited from being in the same bullpen with the future Hall of Famer.
Absolutely, very influential. In fact, since Axford became the full-time closer, May 23rd of 2010, second in the major leagues in save percentage. Hard-throwing right-hander, mid-90s.
He's a great story. He played at Notre Dame, had arm trouble, pretty much gave up his dream. A couple of years in the independent league. Someone saw his arm. Well, an ace reliever. Darnell has had a good game, 2 for 2 with an RBI and a sacrifice fly, single double and a sac fly, raising his average up over 300. Axford, a strikeout pitcher. 86 strikeouts in 73 innings last year. He was named the National League Rolaids Relief Man of the Year, only the second Brewer ever to earn that honor. The other was Raleigh Fingers back in 1981. Count stays at 1-2. He was drafted by Seattle, was Axford 11 years ago, chose to go to Notre Dame. And then he had Tommy John surgery at Notre Dame. He was released. Had some interesting bosses away from baseball. Worked as a cell phone salesman at Walmart. And he just phoned in a strikeout of Darnell. Bartender. That figures, doesn't it? You know, you're out of work. Let's get some night employment.
A nice sharp slider down and away from Axford to go along with that 95, 96 mile an hour fastball. If located well, like that last pitch, good luck as a hitter.
Davis hitting for the second time. Struck out back in the 6th inning. Sharp ground ball up the middle and a base hit for Brad Davis. Trying to spark something here in the bottom of the 9th inning against the Brewers ace, John Axford.
Very nice. Even though that ball was struck on the ground, you could hear it all the way up in the press box. That ball hit on the sweet spot, and that's been a common theme last night and this afternoon in spring training as well.
Here's Na hitting for the first time. There's that sweet sound.
Love it.
Now batting for the first time. He came into the game as a pinch runner for Denorfia. Good chance to see this stocky left-handed hitter. Probably headed for Fort Wayne in the Midwest League, the A team. Pretty tough. Here he comes up, only 20 years of age, and a chance to get a little taste of major league pitching. But this is a little more than you might have ordered. Have to face a guy like Axford. And down he goes. So the Padres down to their final out. And this is Matthew Colantonio batting in the spring training major league game for the first time. And the ground ball to second base.
And the ball game over. The Milwaukee Brewers, using the home run, beat the Padres 10-7. And let's go to Mike Pomerantz. Post-game action.
Hey fans, be sure to stick around for Padres Live, the post-game show. This is one you don't want to miss. We have to break down Tim Stauffer. Had an 80-pitch outing today. We talked at pregame about what he needs to do mechanically. We'll break it down, see what adjustments he was able to make. Also, you're going to hear from the manager.